This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and a big warm welcome to the Bar Steward's Enquiry Weekend Bonanza podcast. A tremendous set of racing we've got this weekend from Leopardstown, the Curragh on Sunday, Kempton on the all-weather isn't even bad for a change, and of course to bolster that there's the Haydock Park Sprint Cup and Ascot as well. What more can we want, gentlemen? This is probably the best weekend's racing we've had in a long while. John, Andy and Jack, good evening.
Good evening.
All. It's like Paddy Power weekend, isn't it?
This is immense, to be honest. The standard of racing is exceptional. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck in, and hopefully we shall find some very good best bets for all our listeners. This is a popular round, especially the max bets round, so let's hope we can have a klaxon or two. Who knows? Let's get the show underway. It's a very busy one. 1 point round now. Andy Richmond, your first bet.
I'm going to the aforementioned Betfair Spring Cup. I'm going to attempt to take on in a minor way the favourite Shaquille, because he's a little bit quirky. I know he's a very good horse and the stable's in good form. I'm not convinced about the draw there, although it's on the different track tomorrow, so you're never going to be too sure there. But if you take Shaquille out of the contest, you've got a really competitive race on paper. I think there's a bit of value with St Lawrence. With Spycatcher needs a bit of softer ground. Millstream makes his debut at this level, having been supplemented. Sacred come up a little bit short lately. I think St Lawrence might be the one who fits the bill either to turn Shaquille over or at least get in the frame. Third last time out in the Prix Maurice de Geese, which is a very good trial for this race. I know Spycatcher was second, but that was on his favoured grounds. He won the Wokingham at Royal Ascot St Lawrence on his first run for the Archie Watson barn. He's got the blinkers seem to have worked for him, although we haven't had a blinkered or head-geared runner in this about 2000, or winner of this in 2004, but I don't really think that's a stat that matters. I think he can reverse the form, certainly the Deauville form with Spycatcher on his preferred quick surface. It's absolutely blistering here in the northwest, so unless they go and swing loads of water on this evening, we should be all right. So I'll have a little half point each way on St Lawrence to kick us off.
14-1 generally available for Andy, going against the hot pot in Shaquille. Jonas, coming to you.
I'm going to Kempton 210.
Yep.
Kathab. I thought this would finish winning after the last run, but this horse was disadvantaged by a fairly shit position at Ripon. I don't see why I wouldn't get back on track here. I think the horse is still well handicapped and improving with racing. 1 point win. Indeed,
100-30 with Denise Coates and William Mills. Bag of bollocks for Mills, but never mind. It's still there. It counts as the price. John, I agree with you on Kathab. Jack?
I'm going to take a bit of a stab at one. So 4:55 Ascot, the 6 furlong sprint. And I see this horse has been stuck in as the rag of the field by the two firms that have priced it up. Redemption Time of Clive Cox. I think if you discount the last run where he broke really slowly and front runners were to the fore that day, you can forgive that effort. But on his 2 previous runs at York, decent third to Q8 City, who he meets on much better terms here. JM Jungle was a length ahead of him, who was rated 78 that day, now rated 93. I think that looks like decent form. And then his 6th in the Macmillan Handicap when he was behind Quinault, who obviously has gone on to bigger and better things, as we know. Aforementioned Millstream, as Andy said, goes in the Group 1 Sprint Cup. He was hampered that day in running and I thought finished his race really nicely. So if you discount that effort, what he got £2 back for, I think this could make be a bit of a silly looking price. And yeah, as I said, I think the conditions should suit and willing to have an each way stab at Redemption Time.
Lovely. Half a point each way at 4 places. I can let you, well, you might get 33s. There's 33s in Bet365, 28 with those only to have price up at time of recording. So you never know, you might get your 33.
2 rule books, Lee.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course there is. They don't call me 2 rule books for nothing. John knows full well about
Uh,
Give me 8-1. That's it.
that. Well, we have to pick a pocket or two. And yeah, okay, that's very, very good. Big price selection.
Nobody walked in.
Oh dear, I'm getting some stick already. Right, we'll come to my first choice, which is in, I believe, it's in the 235 or 310 at Ascot. It's in the 235 race. I'm very keen on Quinault here to resume winning ways. I thought he still ran a blinder last time, and they'd stopped claiming, so he got up 7, and they put Thrasher Morris on, which is an handicap in itself, and so in effect gone up 12 because they stopped claiming the 5. Well, they've gone back to claiming the 5, so I think that's going to be crucial here. There's money for Spangled Mike, but that won because of the headwind at Newbury, and he got got a good ride, a lot of cover. So Quinault, I think, will take a lot of beating, and he's 6-1 generally available, and that's where my 1 point bet goes. Jack, I'll swing it back round to you.
Off to the Curragh on Sunday, Lee, in the Blandford Stakes. And horse for me here is the Henry Candy trained Araminta. I think this looks a winnable race, to be honest with you. Jackie O's been put in as the favourite. I know she won last time out, but I don't like her as a type. She's fizzy to give her a compliment, really. I think cunty is probably more appropriate. And I wouldn't have her. Yeah, I wouldn't have her favourite for anything, so more than happy to take her on at the prices. Lumiere Rock, I think that's probably the danger here, but I think we probably know what we're getting with her at this point, and actually I think she's probably more of a 12-furlong horse on this kind of ground. So Araminta, for me, unexposed, progressive type, was chucked into the listed company and ran very well on only her second start this year, then won the Height of Fashion, and then won a decent-looking pre-Chloe Group 3 at Chantilly, where the seconds come out and won a Group 3, and the fourth has come out and run well in the German Oaks. So I think the form looks solid. I think she's still got progression in her. Gone to the lengths of booking Colin Keane, which is no bad thing round here. And for me, she's the best of the bunch. So at the prices, I was more than happy to go in with 2 points win.
Splendid. 5-1 generally available for Araminta. In the Blandford, that's 225 on Sunday at the Curragh. Good start to the round, Jack. I'll follow you in, going to the 310 at Ascot. And I'm going with the jolly old favourite. I love a fav. It's 7-2 generally available. Victory Dance. I think this should be shorter. The run last time, it's interesting they've gone for the blinds first time. I don't know why, really. To be honest, I don't mind blinds for the first time on a horse that I think they're going to ride forward. And I think that the run in the Deauville race behind Boldac was a super run, I felt. He had to be used early from a wide draw. And Ryan got him across, but he used a lot of petrol. So I'd rate him nearly the winner of that. He got beat a short neck, 3/4 and a head. And I think that made the difference between him winning and losing. Had he been drawn towards the inside, he would have won. I think in this is a drop in class, in effect, off 102. I think he's better than that. I think he could probably reach heights of like 110, this horse. So, yeah, pretty confident. So 2 points on the nose, 7-2, Victory Dance on the class drop for the sandal wearers. Jonas Lang.
I'm going to Haydock, 3 o'clock. The old Borough Cup, isn't it?
It is.
Now, to find a well-handicapped horse in the Eber is probably like trying to find a virgin in Grimsby. But
Is that speaking from experience, John?
I'm afraid so. But I did get the impression that Caius Chorister was coming home in a fashion of a fairly handicapped horse, if not lobbed in. He met a bit of traffic issues as well during the race. He might do that again here. Well, I think we've got Spencer up. We know what we're going to get. But I am happy that he's one of the fairer handicapped horses in a very tight handicap. I'm going to go 2 points win.
Has the thumb put him up, Caius Chorister?
Not that I know of.
Right.
I believe so, Lee.
Has he?
Yeah.
He's a bastard to you, John. That's 5-1 general for John. The thumb's been in and cleaned the shelves out. It's disgraceful, really, isn't it? But a good selection, John. I happen to agree with you on the race on that, which we'll come to in more detail later. Andy Richmond finished the round off.
We're off to Thirsk, surprising. I couldn't find anything at Stratford. Absolute dog shit there. But Reputation won the race last year, the 350. And he's back again after a very nice tune-up last time out, which I picked out in BTB in a 0-85 at Beverley. He finished 5th of 11th after running pretty well in what can only describe as a modestly run affair, as it does so often at Beverley. Pays to be prominent, and he certainly wasn't that. He was the first one held up. The first one of those home held up. That's hard to say that. He's 10 years old, but he's not getting any younger. But I still think there's a little bit of juice in him. He drifted by an absolute barge on that day, it was obvious it was a bit of a tune up to getting ready for this. He weaved his way through the home straight, finished 5th, looked to have something left in the tank. Didn't really get put under pressure by Jimmy Sullivan, and it goes without saying he's not going to reach the heights of old, but he's still well handicapped off a mark of 74, and I think he's got a bit of a chance in this. There's a fair bit of pace in it. Might need a bit of luck, but I think a point each way. If there's any extended places on the old boy Reputation, will do quite nicely in the 350 at Thirsk.
Lovely jubbly, 8-1 Bet365. Others haven't priced up, so 2 rule books comes out for you, Andy. Yeah. So we'll see what price to give Andy when more books have entered the fray. So that finishes to the 2-point round. Now the round you've been waiting for, the best bet round. And I'll start us, and it's a klaxon time. Yes, 2-10 Kempton Cathab. There's no one better to trust than the shirt with a well-handicapped horse. And John described this horse as an autistic horse earlier on this season. The autistic horse has become a man now. To be honest, he's ran some blinders, and at Ripon, as John's rightly put, it was the wrong track. It was not a quick enough pace, and he was in the wrong position. With pace on in this, there's a lot of exposed horses in this. I think I'll go as far as to say I think he's a 6-4 shot. I think the 4-1 that was available yesterday was just madness. 100-30 at the moment, 7-2 for me. 100-30, yeah. 100-30. He's far too big, and this horse really should be winning. So the asthmatic horse enters with the autistic horse, Cathab, 3 points on the nose, 100-30. Right, who should we come to next? Andy, I'll come back to you.
We're going back to Thirsk again.
Oh, bloody hell.
It must be the first time in a year I've had 2 bets on the same card at Thirsk. But I've got to go with this Origin Trail, who David Blunkett, Stevie Wonder and Roy Orbison could have spotted having a rather poor run through last time out. I highlighted the horse in his run at Ripon last time out. Just never got a run at all. Sorry, he is a she, and just couldn't get through up the rail. Been running really well. Good second to 12th night last time out, beaten just over half a length. The last 2 charts for Origin Trail have certainly suggested she was ready to win soon. How the hell she didn't win this day was unbelievable. Got stuck behind a wall of horses. Luck just didn't come. I think that's a pretty decent run. She's a winner off a mark of 78 and her only handicap win at Chester. But she's up to 80 now, but it's essentially still a fair mark. If she gets the run of the race here, I cannot see any way she doesn't win. You're going to have to get your 2 rule books out again because there's only one price, which is 7-2. But even I think that is fair enough. And if she doesn't, and if you're of a trading type, then there's no way that she doesn't travel really well throughout the race as well. So you should be able to get at least your stake back. But I cannot see anywhere Origin Trail doesn't go close here.
Nicely. A lot of confidence behind that, like Cathab, Origin Trail. Confident bet for us there, 7-2. We'll see what other prices with the books for Ben Haslam's charge. Jack, come to you.
320 Leopardstown tomorrow, Lee, for the Irish Champion Stakes. I'm going to tackle it. So I will kick off by the 2 3-year-olds at the top of the market, and not for me. August Rodin. Look, I can't back a horse who's had 2 complete blowouts. Despite what Aidan says about him needing a first-class seat on a Ryanair flight when he flies over, I think there's something wrong with this horse. I think he might be a bleeder. The dam was, and that would explain 2 implorable efforts at Newmarket and Ascot last time out. So I'm against him. Couldn't back him at any price. King of Steel, I really like the horse. I think he's a bit of a fan favourite, but is 10 furlongs round a tight track with a short straight going to suit with Stotty in the plate? I'm not sure it is. It's probably not the race for him, to be honest with you, certainly at the prices. So I'm going to pick 2 older horses here, and actually the 1-2 of last year. So 2 of my 3 points will be going on Ernesto. Hugely encouraging reappearance where he was 4th in the Jack LaMarois, behind 3, Inspiral, Light Infantry, Big Rock, all decent Group 1 milers. That's an inferior trip for him, and I thought he ran very well after the layoff. And I think he's primed for this. I mean, his career best effort was in this race a year ago, so quite happy to row in with him at the prices. You've got Frankie in the plate. I think Frankie's gone all Lester Piggott and started ringing around for decent rides these days, and he's in decent form on these big occasions.
If he gets enough bunts, Jack. Only if he gets enough bunts. So.
We won't talk about Listowel. We'll leave that to the boys for the sermon. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think he's picked a good one here, and I'm pretty strong on him. And I couldn't go without backing last year's winner Luxembourg at a double figure price. I think 10 furlongs is this horse's trip. If you look at his 12 furlong runs, he didn't stay in the King George. I still think he ran okay. Last year's Arc the same. But if you look at his win in the Tatzel's Gold Cup, which was impressive enough, and his win in last year's race, and his second to Mostadaf, I know he ran a bit flat that day as the 2-1 fav, but running a few lengths behind Mostadaf by the looks of things is not a bad run. So I'm happy to go in with him, and I think decent draws, the pair of them 3 and 4, they should get out pretty handy, and I think they could have the class to put the 3-year-olds to the sword here. So 2 points Ernesto, 1 point Luxembourg, please.
Lovely. 2 points Ernesto, 7-1 generally available, and 10-1 Luxembourg, Bet365 and Coral for our Jack. Good stuff, mate. Nice to see you going in the big one, and best of luck with that. I agree. I agree with Ernesto and against Auguste Rodin, but we'll talk about that later. Jonas?
People aren't going to like this.
God.
But I'm going to do it anyway.
You're going to club a seal live on air.
This is worse than Sail Clubbing, to be honest.
Go on.
145 Leopardstown.
Yeah.
Lee now knows what's coming.
I do, yes, I do. Go on.
The nastiest bastard in racing. Nasty Jim.
Yes.
He did this with one a couple of years back, which turned out to be useful, and he's let in Question of Class debut at listed level. This one was also left in a Group 2 up until the 4-day forfeit, and he took a share in this just before she was declared here, purely because he's agreed he couldn't. And you'd expect it to be showing something here purely on the strength of that. This is not the best listed race run in Ireland this season by some stretch. Content is the favourite. She's the kind of favourite I do not like in this type of race. She's a 3 strikes maiden winner. Took her 3 attempts to break the duck. The runner-up to her in that race that was up making debut is only 11-2 here.
Mm.
Now, to me, this is no more than a very, very good novice race. 1.5 points each way.
And a bullseye, John. Paddy's Betfair. Yeah, absolutely.
Two rule books, surely 40s.
yeah, it should be really. Yeah, but to be fair, I'll let him off because basically, I think this. I managed to get a little tiny bit on through an agent of mine. Yeah, well, I've had to on this one because John, I think what it called Ocean Legend. John, the last one was.
Boundless Ocean, wasn't it?
It was something like that.
Boundless Ocean, yeah.
I think it went to like 100 first time out. And you know what spooks me about the chance of this? I like the fact that Mrs. Jim Bolger has just recently bought into it.
She's shrewd, our Mrs. Jim.
Yeah, so if you look on the 6th of September,
Mrs. Jim's up there on a morning watching these work.
Yeah, unless the owner's skint, which I very much doubt. I'm suggesting old Mrs. Jim and old Jim himself have thought, well, we can't let this run without a leg in it. So I think that's what's happened. So yeah, I think it's good. It's a good bit of foresight from John, I think, hopefully. So lovely. A nap, a bullseye. This show, it's not full of favs, like me tipping up favs all the time. John comes up with some big prices sometimes. So, right.
We'll get the fun tip in that.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be it. Nap's king if that wins. So
that'll save you a few quid as well, Lee.
It will, 1,500 quid off that note, Quentin Franks. Yeah, disgraceful chap he is. Right, on to the television, and it's an absolute bonanza. Remember Bonanza on Sundays? Bonanza, Lost in Space, Football Italia. What an afternoon that was. And then Bullseye.
Bullseye.
Yeah, you had to fucking ignore Thora Heard, didn't you? Choose to go on Song of Praise. Fuck Thora, fucking hell.
An episode of Bullseye that they've never shown, that they were unable to show.
No.
It's probably on a packed programme, it's too long a story to tell now, but remind me to tell it at some point.
You can tell me privately and I'll release it on the sermon. Good stuff, right? Okay, we'll move forward and we shall cover the television action tomorrow before looking at the 4 Group 1s in Ireland on Sunday. So first of all, let's go to Kempton, and it's the September Stakes. My own opinion here is I'd be disappointed if Baybridge gets beaten. I don't think Isra particularly should have enough toe to beat this. John?
You're betting on King's Court error here.
I think so.
If the jockey messes up, that's the only thing that you can get this base, I would have said.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on in his head, really, after all the carry-on he's had this year, Power said. So I hope they send him out with clear instructions to sit second, no matter what, and he'll win.
Yeah, the second at the Curragh this year makes odds against look very big indeed. So obviously this will be... What's he prepping for, John? Will he probably go to the Arc?
I would imagine so. I mean, he won at Ascot last year. If they got the ground, I think he'd probably give me a go at Ascot and stuff.
Yeah, so Ascot or Longchamp depending. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will be a prep for that. So hopefully Baybridge comes through with flying colours. Jack, what do you make of the Chilean thing?
Yeah, well, I've heard some favourable reports about the Chilean thing. I mean, I can't attest to be a Valparaiso and whatever it is, Hippodrome de Santiago man, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see that. I think I'm with John here. Baybridge, I think the shrewd way to play it. I think Arc, by all accounts, is the play should this go well. I don't know what price he is for that, but I'd imagine you're looking at, I don't know, 20s plus or something. If he comes out of this looking impressive, might be worth sticking a few quid on for that.
Andy, anything to add?
Well, I was going to suggest an anti-post angle on it, but not in the Arc, but wouldn't it make more sense to go back to Ascot?
It probably would. Yeah, it probably would.
If you look, just bear with me. Just if you look at it, if you look at that race at the moment, I've got the betting in front of me. You've got 8 Impact as favourite, unlikely to go there. Desert Crown, will we ever see him again? King of Steel, possibly. Moss to have Breeders' Cup. August Rodin, don't know. And then Baybridge at 10s. I'd have thought if you were going to have an anti-post bet and a stab and you didn't mind doing your dough if it don't turn up, then Baybridge at 10s. If it wins impressively tomorrow, it ain't going to be 10s.
No, that's a very good point, actually. I think 10s is quite attractive. You're convincing me there because, like I said, I think if I owned it, I'd favour the Ascot race over Longchamp.
I'm just looking what's in, what could run in that Champion Stakes, and after that you've got Horizon Door, Alflaila, well possibly because I quite fancy that in the Champion Stakes. Paddington, well we all think of that. There ain't much after that really, is there? Mate,
no.
To me, if I owned Baybridge, if I were lucky enough, if he ran well and won impressively tomorrow, I would be heading all guns blazing to the Champion Stakes and would have hoovered up any 10-1.
Fair point, and a very good one at that. I think you made a good point there. 210 is the Claxon race for me and Jonas, the London Mile Series final. Jack, any view on that?
Yes, it's the autistic asthmatic here for me.
Yes.
I think the only thing put me off is Pat Dobbs, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the one negative.
Even he shouldn't get this one beat, though, you'd hope.
No, because he's got the right draw, because he's not stuck on the inside. He's in the middle, so there's pace on his outside. They'll all cross over. And I'd imagine he's just got to hold his position, sit about 5th or 6th. And then they just not fuck up in straight there, but it's Pat Dobbs. So there you go. Andy?
Well, yeah, do you want to be backing, as much as I like the horse, do you want to be backing Pat Dobbs on a 3-1, 7-2, depending on which rule book you're using, chance?
Yeah.
Probably not. I thought there were a couple of interesting ones in here, one of which was Helm Rock, and the other one, and you've got to watch the old betting on this, is Rhythm and Rock from the Butler Yard. And I thought that is quite an interesting horse. I've got a feeling he's a little bit better than his handicap mark, but again, put anyone else on Cathab, I'd probably be all over it, but it just slightly puts me off. But just keep an eye on old Rhythm and Rock if they get a bit of cash on that. I can see the 12-1 not lasting on that.
The only thing I'd say is, with John Butler's horses, and this is for any listeners in terms of price, I know for a fact a lot of traders at the moment are betting either in Montenegro or India. And so I'm just wondering, John Butler, I know for a fact does. So it's like, sometimes he don't find it way back to the machine. I've seen some 25-1 impressive John Butler winners. Are you thinking, well, how can he win at 25? That's his gain on over there.
There's no black market, you know that.
Mr.
Rhodes told you that this week. There's no black market. We don't want to stop people betting. I've seen a few shit rides this week, but the biggest shit show was that thing in Parliament.
Dreadful stuff. We'll move across then to where we're going. 235 Ascot. I've tipped in this Quinault. John, any view here?
Yeah, that backdoor van.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's been running all right, and he likes it here, and there should be enough pace on. Yeah, he'll do for me.
Yeah, nice price. Davis always seems to tip Orban at some point during a season. But yeah, like you say, he does like it here, so you make a fair point indeed. Jack?
Yeah, I was along John's lines, to be honest with you. I thought both Orban and Escobar were interesting here. I think there's a decent pace on. Pair of them, tend to fare well around here, and I think could suit a late closer. So Orban, Escobar, and potentially, I don't want to tip too many, but I know Davis bless him, and that was somewhat interesting as well. So I'd be looking to play kind of a late closer in this one, I'd say.
I've got a problem with bless him though this time, haven't I?
What, Turner? Turnip? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Could be right.
Not good. The old Turner. Yeah. Early Turnip. No good. Andy, you any ins into this?
Could probably back about 5 or 6 in this and not find the winner. So there's a few old favourites that I use the word advisedly, and that Orban would be one of them. Abduction's a horse who's driven me to distraction and probably kicking the cat if I had one this year. Popmaster the same. I did quite like the run of Spangled Mac last time out, and he's only gone up £3, but I do appreciate your comments that he probably got a pretty decent. He got a decent ride, and B, he got a lot of cover last time out. But I'm a sucker for Mr. Bowie's horses, and he does have a very good record of following up handicap wins. George Bowie, very, very good at doing that. It's a good planner. Always a good sign of horses, of trainers who can plan following up handicap wins, unlike the Borough, who's got a dreadful record of doing it.
Yeah, around 8-1 for Spangled Mac, if that's your boat. Okay, we'll move on to the 310, which is the Heritage Handicap, which I have tipped up the boys in blue victory dance. John, again, I'll come to you. Any view here?
I've actually thumbed you here. Got 7-1 victory dance earlier in the week.
Filthy.
He is filthy. He is. It's filthy, John. I hope it's second now.
That was the only reason I didn't tip it up on the show, actually, because I don't like tipping up when I've got a better price than what I can tip at.
Yeah, you shit out. Jack?
Well, they say the old phrase application of cash and all that. Well, if you look at Godolphin horses, application of a set of bollocks is quite a teller. And this horse Victory Dance has not been gelded, which to me is a positive sign with that mob. And I think it would be a case of them thinking he's still a group horse. So, yeah, I'm completely with you on that one, Lee. I thought he ran well last time out. The only thing for me was the trip, and would the blinkers light him up too much? I don't know. I can totally see the case. I thought Al Saqib was somewhat interesting if you look at his form. Beat Al Najm, who we know is a pretty nice horse, and gave him weight as well. It was almost a bet for me between the two of them, but I'd probably just favour on the side of Victory Dance like yourself.
Okay. Andy?
I'm going to sort of go away from, whilst appreciating your boys' views, overactive, something I can never be accused of these days.
No.
For the Rafe Ralph barn, he's been in really good form. He's only actually 4 wins away from his best season ever, which was 103 winners in 2020. He's at the 100 winner mark already. I like this horse. Seen him win twice now at Lingfield and Leicester. Quick ground suits him. It's one with a lot in hand last time out. I know he's up in grade here, but just looks a nice straightforward horse to me. And I thought, looking at the old Betfair prices at the moment, 7 point. I know it's to peanuts, but 7.8, 8.4 is the gap at the moment. But anything around that sort of mark, I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, fair point. That's Ascot done. We'll move across to Lancashire, Andy Richmond country. 13.50 Haydock. Light infantry, 15-8 for Simcock and Frank. It's, straight away. Am I right in saying doesn't this want softer ground, really, ideally?
I think so.
Yeah, I thought that, Lee, to be honest. And it's short enough for a horse that doesn't win a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Short enough for a hold-up horse round Haydock.
Just looks a bit bored with life as well. I don't know. Same with Chindit. Chindit, he's another horse that I want to take on. But the question is, what with? Come on, chaps. What can we find?
The answer is easy.
Go on.
Regal Reality. That was in the best form he's been in for about 3 years.
Yeah.
That run at Salisbury was excellent. Yeah,
I completely agree, John. But Paul Mulrennan was the issue here for me with that one.
He does ride the odd winner, unlike some of the people we could have had him.
Yeah.
I don't think there's quite a lot right for this horse here. They should go an even pace. He's got a good draw. He'll love the conditions. And I don't really see much downside to playing him each way, really, against this lot.
Right, fair enough. No, I like it. I'd probably go in with you then on that in each way bet. Andy, what you thinking here?
Zoology looked quite interesting for Kieran Fallon on. It wasn't a race I was mad keen to get involved with. I thought the front two, light infantry and Chindit, you could sort of file them under the same board in tray, couldn't you?
Yeah.
The sort of price. So if you wanted to take them on, I'd have a small Dutch on Zoology and Regal Reality. 11-2, 13-2 is knocking around respectively. Again, there's plenty of racing on Saturday, and you don't need to get involved in them all.
Indeed. Yeah.
Bet responsibly.
Yeah, and have more on.
Have more.
Yes. Yes. Let's go for it. If you can't empty your bank on a weekend like this, when can you empty your bank? It's no good. It's no good waiting for Wolves and Plumpton on a Monday, is it? Let's empty it all. Absolutely. So we come on to the get daily rewards with Betfair Premium Handicap, 100,000 added. Nice sort of prize. Interesting to see the Ebor team come out with Denmark and Lordship. I think that's a fascinating rematch. I don't think there'll be much between them.
And the coach was in that as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Nakib, for me, I think he's overrated. I don't think Nakib's 100 horse. That's just my take on it. And I'd be quite interested.
They put him up on the strength of the Gosden horse winning the Melrose, didn't they?
Yes.
It was like a retrospective.
Went up £8 for that, I think. So, for that Kempton win, that was a proper egg and spoon race. So
well, the reason why I think Nakib he's been badly handicapped is because Middle Earth didn't have the run of the race in that. It missed the kick. It didn't like the stalls. It didn't have the proper pace to run at. So that's why I was so impressed with it for a Melrose, because I thought, well, nothing's gone right there for him, and he still turned over Nakib. So I thought, well, that can't make Nakeeb 100. So I'm going to be laying Nakeeb, and that's my angle in here. I do like Denmark Lordship and Blinded by the Lights, who hasn't had a pace yet to run at, proper one. And I think there's a lot more improvement to come from him. It's just, it might be a bit out of his grade for now. I don't know. It's a big ask sort of taking these lot on. John, how did you see it?
I thought Ryan was very careful with Denmark in the Melrose coming back from the layoff, which gives me a bit of comfort as regards the possible bounce. I thought he rode Denmark like he thought he had a future. I would be very, very surprised if this got beat tomorrow.
Interesting.
I think this is probably the horse that's going to go forward a bit. Because he just looked as though he was careful with it at York.
Yeah, as if this is the be-all and end-all kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I like that view. Jack?
Yeah, agreed with John, really. I thought Denmark was the one here. I thought he was a one-time Derby horse, to be fair. So to see him pitching up in a handicap off 102, particularly off that last effort, which I thought was more than impressive, he'd be the one for me here, I'd say.
I think they've described him as a bit of a boyo at home. He's a bit difficult.
He chucked Ryan off, didn't he, on his debut? I think.
Good. Yeah. Andy, coming to you on the race?
I think I'd be with you. I think the way I'd probably approach it is probably Dutch in Denmark, Lordship, and possibly to a small lesser, then Blinded by the Lights and trying to take on the Keeb that way. I'm still keen on Lordship. I still think one of the horses I've backed in the Melrose, and I still think there's certainly some good races in him. But I appreciate John's comments about Denmark. When you watch that race back, he was looked after, and say you could get a bit decent pace if we're Blinded by Lights. That's probably the way I'd do it. But 5-2 is skinny enough on the Keep, and you've got plenty. If you're taking things on, you've got plenty running for you there, and plenty of horses with potential.
The Old Borough Cup in the 3 o'clock. John backed KS Chorister on his best bet round, and I agree with that. To be honest, it was the big eye catcher, wasn't it, in the Ebor, where kind of nothing went right for it at the crucial point. Sergeant Wilson, John, he's not had the best of times, has he, this year? But
he's had a shit year.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he started with a bang. He might sort of start finishing it with a bang with some more winners. But anyway, since the Lincoln, he just seems quiet. It could be KS Chorister, and he might stave off going to train in Marseille, John.
We can't afford to lose the likes of Sergeant Wilson.
Definitely not.
No.
KS Chorister for me and John. Jack?
Yeah, I think this horse is in savage order, really, and I might piss off a few mates of mine here, but he had a £10 claimer on his back last time out who can't claim £10. So I think
it's dreadful. He's dreadful.
He is
certainly dreadful.
For the I know Spencer's up, but for the application of an actual jockey, I think she'll go well here, and I'd like to see them return to probably more prominent, front running rides. That's where she's done her best work. And well, yeah, exactly. But I've seen him do a few lately. He might have changed his tune, but I'd certainly have a favourite over Aztec Empire, who I think, to me, I don't know about you guys, but he seems to have stayed well over the kind of 2 miles, 2 mile and a furlong, and dropping back to 1 mile 6, I'm not sure is a positive.
No, if he's not all in, I'll stand tapping.
Andy?
I'd probably run with you boys. It was certainly an eye-catching run in the Ebor. I must nick Jack's phrase, application of a jockey.
Yeah.
That one.
An actual jockey.
That could get into the Bar Stewards lexicon, couldn't it? Especially over the winter months as well. The Empire, Chaos Chorister, Post and Precious came back to form last time out. There's bits of money around for Sea King, but again, I'm not the biggest Luke Morris fan, but put that quietly because I get very upset people say that. Yeah, Chaos Chorister probably, even though John's nicked all the prices.
Yeah.
Or the thumb. It was the thumb first.
Well, but was it?
Yes.
I'll leave that question there.
Indeed. 3:35, it's the Betfair Sprint Cup. And Shaquille is taken on by Andy Richmond in the shape of, where are you? St. Lawrence, Archie Watson. Yeah, improved obviously since joining Archie Watson, even though he was narrowly behind Spycatcher last time. And Andy points out that he'll reverse the form on the fact that the ground is better. John, where are you on the Sprint Cup?
I just want Shaquille to win and prove himself a proper sprint champion that we haven't had for ages.
Yes, I know where you're coming from. Everybody likes a 1-1-1-1-1, and everyone wants it to continue. Can he get away with missing the kick badly here again?
Well, it's as good a place as any, I think.
Yeah, Haydock 6 is usually okay if you're happy with James Doyle back in the saddle.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been bothered over him, to be honest. I mean, he's not tricky as in tricky to sit on. He's just, he can just fuck things up in his head a bit, can't he? You know what I mean? Which doesn't really matter who's on. He's slowly away. It's not like he's not like a Zood. He's not going to drop his head and try and put you off coming out the stalls or anything like that. You know, so, yeah, I think it doesn't matter who rides really for me.
Be an interesting spectacle what he does at the stalls tomorrow. Jack?
Yeah, I'd love to see Shaquille win. I think it might be one for your in-running players. I mean, the Camacho and Brown team seem to think there was some sort of issue with him having a rug on, which they've got rid of. And apparently his stalls work has been much better. So if he jumps level terms or close to, if you can get, even money after half a furlong.
What price do you think he'll be after a furlong, Jeff?
Well, that's it. It depends, if the Shrewds are onto it or not. But I think if you can get, close to what he jumps at after he's jumped cleanly, I'd have the lot on, to be honest.
Indeed. Right. So that covers the UK TV action, but with a small matter of 2 races televised on ITV tomorrow from Ireland, which is the first of them being the Matron Stakes at 2:45, and Tahira, favourite filly of mine, goes in that, and he's market leader around 6-5. John, have you noticed anything in the Matron really that stands out the prices, or you just think Tahira just wins?
I'm expecting Meditate to run well after a break, but I don't think she's anywhere near good enough to beat Tahira. And one that I do think will outrun the price is Gozen.
Yeah.
Because that was way too fresh for Gabrielle this year and just absolutely tanked through the race. And she's a lot better than that. 100 to 1's a bit silly, to be honest. She might be about 5th, but 100 to 1's a stupid price.
Interesting. Good stuff. Jack, your thoughts on the Matron?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, it's interesting to see her go odds against throughout the day, isn't it? And that could end up looking very silly. He's obviously put Homeless Songs in there as well. I know she was very good last year, but we've not seen much of her this year. I mean, I guess this is probably the most obvious race for her, and that's why she's here as well. But whether you'd view that as a negative, I'm not sure. But yeah, look, I'd be disappointed to see her beat. She's a very good filly, and that price of anything odds against could end up looking a bit silly.
Yeah, I'm a backer at odds against on Tahira. Andy, your view here?
Yeah, I think odds against you'd be a backer, wouldn't you? I do like Homeless Songs as a horse. She only got, the one run this year wasn't a bad run to Buckaroo, who runs on the same card, doesn't he? That was on pretty bad ground. It was on a seasonal debut. It's been off a long time since then, so I don't think there's been a problem, or they've just been waiting for the right opportunity. It's got a decent form on better ground. It's got to give £5 away, but I don't know, maybe in the sort of without favourite markets, place markets, I thought she'd probably be the one that I sort of think would have a chance of turning over to Tahira. But as you say, I wouldn't be going nuts over trying to get her turned over. I think there's worse favourites that you can take on than Tahira.
Yeah, and one coming up in the 320, the Irish champion, Auguste Rodin.
Exactly.
Jack's already pointed out very succinctly about Auguste Rodin. And I have absolutely no idea why this is at that price. I mean, if I'll happily lay less than 5-1 on the machine till the account's dry. I mean, there's no way it cannot be King of Steel for me over 10 anyway. That's just he only outstayed it basically at Epsom. It won an absolutely shit Irish derby and then ends up, like you said, getting beat 127 lengths, probably bled like you say, last time out. There's not a lot to recommend this at all, and yeah. What do you think, John?
Well, I think you summed it up perfectly well there. There's not a lot to recommend back in August Road, Dan, is there?
Not really.
I just don't think you could back it at any price, given,
And yet someone is, aren't they?
Well,
someone's getting stuck in here, and you just think, what's wrong with these?
Hopefully it's not John Magnier.
Yeah. Balls will be knocking on his knees tomorrow as this is bounding clear at final furlong. I told you fucking bastards that a fucking win. You bastards. Take that, you bastards. That was me being impressive. I love this game, John.
He does, doesn't he, the little bastard? He's done me again, we carry the one.
Carry the one?
Gagging for a 7 furlong handicap. So what does he do? Puts in a 7 furlong handicap on a round course. What a cunt.
But I love this game, John.
I love this game.
Andy Richmond, your thoughts on the Irish champ?
Well, exactly like you boys, I want to sort of take on the front two, or what might be the front two. I'm not sure they will be, but they're drifting. King of Steel and Rodan, for varying reasons. One, August Rodan, I don't know, I just can't work him out. King of Steel, I don't think it's the right course. The two I actually quite like are Alflaila and Juanesto. I'd probably back those two against the field. I think Alflaila deserves a chance at this particular level. Ran pretty well last time out, and he's just a very fresh horse. And I still think I think he's an autumn campaign, and Ernesto and Mr. Dettori should get on very well together. So I'd be erring towards those two. I think there's a lot of ways you can play this. You either you could lay the front two, have everything running for you. You've probably got Luxembourg, Jack's other selection there. You couldn't write off Nashua either. So you've got plenty running for you. You're going to do yourself too much damage. Or if you want to take a couple to take on, the ones I'd pick out were Alflaila and Juanesto.
I think coming out the 3 box, I think if Juanesto can't play, say, around about 11 to 8, I think that's just a stonking bet. You're gonna get about 11 or 8, aren't you?
I'm an Ernesto fan as well.
Yeah. I just don't. I can't look at these and think how 3 of these beat him.
No.
Let's hope it wins for Jack and gets him back in the black. Yes, that's what we need. Right, the 2:55 Sunday, the 4 Group 1s we're going to look at now at the Curragh. We start with the Flying 5, where Highfield Princess heads the market 13.08, 3-1 Bradshaw, 5-1 Art Power, course specialist, John. He loves the place.
He loves this game, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I know, but he also loves Tick Dave, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I thought that was a real snub.
That's a bit sad, I think. And if he's going to lose his majestic Curragh record, he should lose it without Thick Dave up.
Yeah. Is he unbeaten at the Curragh?
Yeah.
Does he love the place, or does he love busting up 90 to 100 shit sprinters? That's the question.
Well, yeah, he loves that as well.
Well, yeah, there's that as well. But
the
yeah.
fact that you get to the front at Curragh, it's like devil's own job to get past you, isn't it?
Yeah, fair point. Yeah.
That's what he likes about Curragh.
Yeah. Selections, Jack. Any massive confidence? Are you doing your ladies' church, Jack?
No, I think that project's gone, unfortunately. That last effort was disappointing. I thought Boutamont was interesting in here. I know there's been quite a lot of stuff, if you've seen it, on he's been bought by Kevin Blake and co. to be a stallion in Ireland at the end of the season. And French sprinters aren't exactly, they're not renowned for it, put it that way. But I think that the angle is that he needs a good pace and decent ground, and you're not going to find that in France very often. So I could see that one outrunning its odds at 16s, if you're against the kind of top 3 anyway.
You love your Frenchy racing.
Yes.
Yes.
Oui.
You're the man. You're the man for that. Interesting shout. Boutamont. Jack says, I didn't know that Kevin Blake had gone and done his thing and bought that as a sire. Interesting purchase, you'd say. Andy, thoughts?
You probably need to put 3 miles in front of the 5 furlong. Be really interested in this, but,
Yeah.
but I can't see it. we're nearly getting to head shopping season, so it'll be fine.
Oh no!
Yes.
Wash your mouth. Wash your mouth out.
Yes.
There's loads to come, Andy.
Yeah.
Yes, loads.
Yeah, no, you got a few months yet, boys. Yeah. Highfield Princess should take this, shouldn't she? Quite happy to sit and watch it, to be quite honest with you. In fact, I probably thought that about all the Group 1s. I was more interested in the sprint in the first race, 150. What's Mr. Davis going to do here? There's loads of English horses coming over to
back all of them.
To take it. He's going to have to back a few then.
Combi Tricast.
Yes, and I can get the plug-in for our Patreon subscribers. Nicky's writing an article up on the sprint handicaps in Ireland. I think the first one anyway. He said to be today, so that's something for you to look forward to in the morning.
Fresh in that, because I flagged him up last time out.
Yes. And also for Patreon subscribers, again, another shameless plug, is tomorrow sees the start of the Last Man Standing monthly competition where you can win £100 in cash. And more important than that, a limited edition Bar Stewards mug, which is just different class. Only 30 of these have been made.
It's like a bendy bully that doesn't bend, isn't it?
We're not selling them. Not for sale.
We haven't got one.
You are getting one.
Mugs on a mug.
So, mugs on a mug. Yeah, absolutely. This is something that you might want to consider signing. Again, with all our terrific content, you get a chance to win 100 notes and a mug, just picking your selections out on a Saturday. Right, coming back to your opinion on the Highfield Princess, that's what you said, isn't it?
Yeah, Highfield Princess. I'm more interested in that sprint that leads off the card. I'd be interested to see what Nick thinks of that, but I did think Fresh ran a really good race last time, and it's highlighted in another Patreon article. Shameless plug.
Yeah, good stuff. 325 Curragh, Moyglare. Ylang, Moyglare, dear to my heart, obviously Tahira won it last year, big bet on her. I thought Ylang would take some beating, John, but I know you like Vespertilio.
I like Vespertilio. I also like Red Viburnum.
Agreed.
I thought made a stonking good debut only a month ago and had plenty go wrong in the race. And I'm quite pleased to say Dermot's sticking with the programme here rather than going for a maiden. I would imagine this has made significant progress from debut.
Yeah, she was very eye-catching, wasn't she, on debut?
Yeah. I think 9-1 is very big about that.
Yeah, we'll have some of that. We like that. Alt listeners can have 7s and 6s.
Yeah.
Jack, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I like her. I completely agree with John. Thinking sticking her into this company is a very positive sign. One thing Aidan said actually after Yelang's last win, obviously she's made all on 2 occasions. They said they're going to try and drop her in, and whether they do it for a start is a question, but whether that doesn't benefit her, I'm not sure. But Vespertilio for me could have easily overturned that form if I think that better ground would certainly suit her. So yeah, I wouldn't be so strong on the Fav, to be honest. I'd be quite keen to play both Vespertilio and Red Viburnum against her.
Good stuff. Yeah, we like taking on a Fav. Andy, your view here?
Yeah, snap. No need to move on. Snap.
That's it.
Already taken John's views on that. So earlier, because he put it in his notebook, didn't he? So
yes.
they're all noted. All your stuff, everything is all noted up. All the past. So, yeah.
We do it. It's the Patreon notes. Yes, £7 a month for John's notes is worth it on its own. Or the bias or national.
First thing I do on a Sunday, Lee, before the bacon sandwich, it's John's notes. Have a read of those, and then crack on with the week.
Absolutely, it's all good stuff on there. Something for everyone. 4 o'clock at the Curragh, the National Stakes. This has to be a tremendous renewal, really. 3 very highly touted prospects at the top of the market. City of Troy, Henry Longfellow and Buccaneer Rafferty. How on earth is City of Troy nearly touching evens?
Got theory here, Lee.
Go on.
Does it run 10 to 11? 10 to 11. Henry Longfellow's been chucked in, who Aidan said goes straight to the Dewhurst. Does it run? That's my question.
That is a good point. John, what's your thoughts?
10 to 11 and hope it runs.
Agreed.
Well,
that's crazy. It's a 1 to 2 shot if it turns up. If that.
Least.
If that, yeah.
I mean, we even said it at Win Boat Race Masters and World Snooker next spring, didn't we? As preps for Guineas.
He'd win BBC Sports Personality, I think, if he had
Yeah.
it.
He'd win anything.
There's a general election next year. He's only got to win that.
If he turns up at the Ali Pally, he'd win darts at Christmas. I mean, it's a gimme. 10 to 11. He's having a laugh. Put in what you can get past your affordability check account and just ram it on. Yeah, it's just a crazy price. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'm just reading back your having collected your notes copiously from the sectionals. Although you did put a joke in there. If you have a Unibet account, has anyone got one of them? He was 14 to 1 for the. It was 14 to 1 for the Derby. Well, for the first race. And if anybody got that, well done. I couldn't oppose him, but as Jack said, he might have a bit of a theory there. But as John said, if you've got the 10, if you can get the 10 to 11, pull the betting boots on and have it on while you can still have a bet in this country.
Indeed.
Agreed.
When will time be up? We don't know. 4:35 Curragh to finish off the show. It's the Irish St Ledger. I've got no view here because without information on Kyrgios, not the tennis player, Kyrgios.
He'd probably win this as well, to be honest.
He probably would, actually, yeah. Kyrgios, I can't play. I'd need the info and the lowdown on Kyrgios for me to have a bet in this, because obviously you're just betting them with a marked deck otherwise. So I'd like to hear your thoughts, or if you've heard anything on the grapevine, Marvin Gaye.
Well, I backed Broome in this race, so that plot's already gone. Fuck knows why he's not been declared, but I think it's a really simple one, to be honest. Sit there 5 minutes before the off. If Kyrgios has got no takers and he's 3 to 1, don't bet him. If he's been backed into 5 to 4, then have the fucking lot on.
Yeah, I think the lads will sort of steer the way on this one. They'll know the SP. Andy, John, anything to add?
Just watch, as Jack said, just watch the price, because I don't know. I love the horse. Loved him when he won the Gold Cup. Obviously had an injury. Don't know. You just don't know, do you? Absolutely. No. But not a clue. So
he's got enough in hand for the lads not to let this go off odds against Australia, hasn't he?
Yeah. To race, I want to see if it's 4 to 5 on off. That's a better price than taking 11 to 8 now.
Yeah.
Because you might, like Jack says, you take 11 to 8 now, it might be 5 to 2, and then you firked. Yeah. So I think we'll wait to the lads and play late on Kyrgios in the Irish St Ledger. Right. Hope you enjoyed the show. We certainly did, and it's an action-packed one, and we hope you do very well this weekend, either following our selections or your own, or someone else's, or the Thumbs, or Huge Taylor's, or anyone's. But make it count and make it pay. That's all from us. We're back on Sunday as usual. Me, John, and Chris talking absolute rubbish. Bye for now.